Hey family, welcome back to Let's Talk Real with Ishi B, where we unpack the things we carry and give ourselves permission to set a few bags down. Today's episode, Lord, it's personal, but not too personal. It's reflective, but not exposing. It's honest, but still healing. We're calling this one, Whose Storm Is This? Because sometimes we don't realize we've been standing in somebody else's rain, holding up an umbrella soaked to the bone, thinking it's our responsibility to keep everybody dry. But what happens when the storm isn't even ours? What happens when love starts to feel like labor? Let's talk about it. You know, I grew up as the oldest of 3 kids. That came with a lot of unspoken expectations. I was the helper, the extra set of hands, the early caretaker, not just of my siblings, but sometimes of emotions that didn't belong to me. Now, don't get me wrong, there was definitely love and joy in our household. And best believe Mama let us be kids when she could. But life still had needs. And I had this instinct to meet them, even when I didn't fully understand what I was signing up for. I believe that's where the pattern started, feeling responsible for other people's feelings, their peace, even their healing, especially when I could see their hurt and wanted to help fix it. But here's the thing, helping and healing are not the same. Helping says, I support you. Healing says, I'll carry this for you. And that's where we all burn out. Somewhere along the way, I started confusing love with obligation. I stepped into storms that weren't mine and made myself the shelter. Until I finally asked the question, whose storm is this? Is this mine to carry? And most importantly, do I even have the tools for this kind of rain? It's not about blaming anybody. It's about choosing you in moments where you've been conditioned to abandon yourself. It's about learning to say, I love you, and I trust God to help you carry what isn't mine to fix. That's not being selfish. That's called spiritual maturity. I often found myself playing the role of emotional anchor in relationships that were supposed to pour into me. From a young age, I was the one people turned to when they needed someone to talk to, someone to vent to, someone to lean on, especially in moments where they felt alone or misunderstood. And I didn't mind at first because I love deeply. That's always been true about me. But with time, I realized I was stepping into roles that blurred the line between care and responsibility. I became the listening ear, the emotional sponge, the you get me when no one else does person. And sometimes that meant shrinking my own feelings just to hold space for someone else. Now, as I've grown, I'm learning to love without over-carrying, to support without self-sacrifice, because I deserve to be poured into too. And the little girl in me, she deserved that all along. Now, how did it make me feel to carry storms that aren't mine? It feels heavy, overwhelming, like trying to hold back a flood with bare hands. Sometimes I found myself overstimulated, like my nervous system was picking up on emotions that had absolutely nothing to do with me. And yet, somehow, they became mine to process. And it's frustrating, not because I don't want to support the people I love, but because no one actually asked me to carry the whole storm. It's like the expectation was unspoken, but real. The moment they shared their weight with me, something inside me believed it was my job to hold it all. But I'm learning now that support doesn't mean self-sacrifice. I can still love without absorbing. I can still care without carrying. And I can pray for the storm without standing in the rain. And that, to me, is freedom. Now, what boundaries would help me protect my peace and still love well? Right now, my biggest boundary is space. I've learned that sometimes loving someone means stepping back, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. When I feel overstimulated, overwhelmed, and emotionally drained, distance is the one boundary that has helped me breathe again. It's not perfect, and it's definitely not easy, but it's what I know right now. I'm still learning how to show up in smaller doses, how to be present without absorbing or becoming overstimulated again. I pray a lot because I believe prayer changes things. But what I wasn't prepared for was how prayer sometimes invites disruption before peace. Like the storm gets louder before it breaks. Like things get worse before it gets better. Like, huh? That part still confuses me to this day, but I trust that healing is happening even when it's hidden. So I protect my peace through space. I love through prayer, and I stay open to growing new boundaries that allow me to love without losing myself and hurting or enabling anyone else. Now, where in my life do I need to put the umbrella down? Truthfully, in my relationships, specifically with Mr. P, we've been connected for so long that sometimes I feel what he feels and he feels what I feel, even when we don't say it out loud to each other. And when he's struggling, I definitely go into fix-it mode. Not because he asked me to, but because I love him and I want to see him at peace and I want to see him win. But recently, he told me something I won't forget. That sometimes my efforts to help can actually make things harder. Not because I don't mean well, but because he's trying to figure things out on his own, in his own way. And while that was hard to hear, I understood it was honest, and I respect him for it. I mean, I've been carrying an umbrella for him. Shielding, soothing, trying to do it all right, especially when it comes to being quote unquote wife material. Cooking meals with love, trying to anyway, holding it all down, showing I'm worthy of being kept. But the pressure to prove that worthiness, that's the storm I need to step out of right now. Because real love isn't earned through seasoning, timing, or performance. It's nurtured through understanding, patience, and truth. So I'm learning now that I can love Mr. P without carrying the weight of his world. Although it is a struggle, I can still be a partner without being his solution. And I can rest in the fact that I am enough, even when the rice is undercooked, even when the house ain't all the way cleaned up. Hey, we all works in progress here. So listen up, listeners. If you ever felt like you were carrying more than your heart could hold, this episode was for you. If you ever stepped into someone else's storm out of love, loyalty, or guilt, this episode was your mirror. And if you're learning, like I'm learning, that you can't heal what you didn't break, can't fix what's not yours, and can't carry somebody else's peace in your pocket, then honey, it's time to put that umbrella down. Listen, you don't have to stop loving the people that you care for. You don't have to even harden your heart, but you do get to, and you must practice protecting your peace. Some storms requires God's help, not our hands. And that's okay. You are not abandoning anybody by choosing yourself. You are finally remembering you can pray for the storm without standing in the rain. I appreciate y'all for listening and standing with me and being with me today. Thank you for showing up. Importantly, for you. If this episode touched your spirit, feel free to share it. Tag me, talk to me, or just sit with it in your own quiet space, or journal if that's what you're on. Either way, honor what came up for you. Until next time, this is Ishi B, setting down umbrellas, setting up boundaries, and speaking truth with love. Take care of your heart, people. I'll see you in the sunshine.